Hello and welcome back for another review. It's been a while, I know, and I want to apologise for the long absence, but I had some things going on, and yeah, I'm back. That's the important thing. So let's just dive straight in to the review of the FEELM Tech pod system. Before we dive in any further, I just quickly want to mention advocacy. As always, there's some links down in the description. Go check them out down the bottom. It's up to you to help save vaping, to help save more lives like yours. So let's dive in. This is the box that mine came in. Yours will probably be a bit different, as this is the prototype, I believe. So let's open her up and let's see what is inside. So inside the box you will get obviously your device, you'll get a micro USB for charging it, and you get 4 pod systems in here. Now these are all closed pod systems, so you don't have to worry about filling them. You get a strawberry one, a berry one, a tobacco, and a mint or menthol tobacco basically. And that's how you get these. I believe these won't be the final packaging. Again, this is a tester, so if yours doesn't come like this, don't start typing in the comments, oh, mine didn't come like this. It's just how mine has come, so I'm showing you how mine has come. So let's go over the device. So this is the device, fairly straightforward. You have an air hole there and an air hole on the flip side. That's how your air is going to come in once you take a drag. In the top, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this. There we go. So on the inside you have, on the outsides, there is 2 magnets, and then in the center you have obviously your positive and your negative. You have a teardrop shape LED here. Then you obviously have a bit more branding down the bottom. As you can see, mine says tester on it. Yours will probably not say that on it on the final rendition. On the back there is nothing, which I hope they do change because I have absolutely no idea what size battery is in this. And on the bottom you have your micro USB for charging the device. Now to install the pod, pretty straightforward. You just slide her in. As you can see, it only fits in one way, so just slide her in and it's held in via those magnets we saw before. So going over the pod, this is it. Now as you can see, it is very dark in black. I do hope that in the updated versions they make this more clear so that you can actually see your juice level a bit better, because at the moment you have to hold it up to the light to see where your juice is at, especially once it gets past sort of your top level there. You can't really tell how much juice you have left in the bottom, and I don't know if you can make that out, but this one's pretty much dead. On the top you have a tapered mouthpiece. It's on a whistle style tip with it looks like it's an oval shape, but if you look closely, it's just a round circle in the top where the vapor does come out. As you can see, it tapers off. This is obviously how it fits into the device. And on the bottom you have your, where the air comes in, your positive and your negatives on the sides here, and then those 2 magnets, as you can see, magnetics. So that's pretty much it. Now with this coil that they have inside here, it's not your generic wire and cotton. What they have inside instead is a wire and a sort of ceramic insert with it. I have actually been given a coil to show you, so let's quickly open this one up. So this is, oh, hang on, you can't really see that, can you? So this is your coil. As you can see, there is no cotton whatsoever. What it does is it just goes in one side, through the S shape, out the other, and as it heats up here, it heats up the ceramic, and then that's what vaporizes your e-liquid. You have a nice little catch cup in here, which is where the vapor will be shooting out from. And yeah, what they claim is that obviously you're not going to get any dry hits or burning sensations or anything as such, and as for wicking time, it's next to nothing, because you don't have to wait that long for your cotton to absorb the liquid. However, with it being a closed pod system, you don't really have that issue anyway. And I have found if you do chain vape it, you can actually get a sort of dry hit taste with it, as well as the device and the pod getting quite hot. But again, with pod systems, you shouldn't really cane or chain vape them anyway, so keep that in mind. Let me just quickly tidy this up a little bit. Alright then, so as I mentioned earlier, there is no labeling on here what the battery size is, so I cannot tell you what the battery is like. What I can tell you is that the battery lasts for about half a pod. So if you go through half a pod of 2mm pods, I forgot to mention that, if you go through a pod every 12 hours, say, you know, you will have to charge this up before you can do that. As for charging time, anywhere between half an hour to sort of an hour. This LED, once the camera focuses, this LED down here, it only lights up white. So I do hope that they change that to at least a 2-color. At least make it sort of green and then amber before it cuts out, you know, so you know roughly what your battery life is like before you go out with it thinking, oh yeah, I've got a full pod in here, battery's working alright, and then it dies on you within 5 minutes of you being out, because it's just white, and then once the battery's dead, it'll just flash at you white. That's it. So I do hope that they change that and put at least 2, maybe 3 would be ideal, of different lights in here, so you know roughly what your battery level's at. Another thing with it, I hope that they change, is that they make these clearer so you can see what your actual liquid is like. I mean, I get it that you want to go for the sort of murdered out look on this, but I'd prefer it to be a bit more clear so it's a bit easier to see where your liquid is at. Staying with the pod, I do say this with every closed pod system, but I do wish that they made at least an empty pod system. You know, keep the closed pod systems as they are, but make one that you can refill yourself. I mean, you probably could take this apart and put your own liquids in. However, they're not designed to be taken apart, so you'll just end up breaking it if you don't know what you're doing. So I would not suggest doing that, especially as a new vapor. Again, with the pod, you know, the liquid does last a fair while. You do tend to get a sort of dry, powdery hit, sort of like I had with the Hexa pod system, which is actually got the same type of coiling because it's made by FEELM Tech as well. But other than that, it's a nice little compact pod system. You know, it fits nicely in your hand. It fits in your pocket quite easily, so that's a plus with it. You know, it's sort of just a little bit bigger than a lighter maybe. So for the smokers trying to convert over, this sort of size is ideal for you. Flavors you get with it, you obviously get your berry and your strawberry one, and then you have your tobacco and your mint or menthol, whatever you want to call them, which is for, you know, the ones that are wanting something very similar to a cigarette without actually smoking a cigarette. But again, I do wish that they made a refillable one, just so that you can put your own juices in, and it helps cut down on the waste that gets produced from a closed pod system. Because, you know, I can go through about 2-3 a day of these, and that's a lot of added waste. If you had a refillable one, you know, you can get about 5 to 10 pods out of these easy, especially with there not being any cotton in there that can get dirty or gunged up. So, you know, you could probably get even a couple more than that out there, and it would be a lot more economically friendly. That being said, I do understand the ease factor with these. You know, you literally just take it out of the packet, slide it in, and Bob's your uncle, you're ready to go. The throat hit on these is very similar to what a cigarette is like, being 20 milligrams of nicotine. That's a plus for a sort of starter conversion kit, I guess. Vapor production is pretty much the same as a cigarette with one of these. So, you know, with if you're trying to get off the darts, this is a good starting point, as long as with some other type of pod systems. Although I do probably would lean more towards recommending a refillable system, just because you can put your own juices in and you can experiment a bit more with your nicotine levels and everything else a bit better than you can with a closed pod system, as well as it being more economically friendly, as I have mentioned before. But other than that, there's not really much more I can go over. I can't give you prices on this because, again, this is a tester. That being said, I don't think these will be more than sort of, you know, your usual £20 for a sort of starter kit. Now, I was sent 2 of these, so I will be giving the other one away. So this will be given away on Instagram. Now, the terms are, you have to be a follower, you have to like the post that goes up, tag 3 friends, and you have to be subscribed to my YouTube channel. That's it. You pay shipping. That's all I ask. You know, I'll ship it anywhere I can send it to. However, you will need to cough up for the shipping for the device. Now, what you get inside is obviously everything that I've gone through before. However, I will just show you again. So you get all your 4 pod systems, you get your device, your micro USB, put that back in there for some lucky winner. But yeah, so that is the FEELM Tech pod system, and as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, ding dong, turn on that bell, and yeah, let's choose clouds over cancer.